In the Huddle was created to give student athletes, parents and coaches an inside look at the journey through US college sport and all that comes with it. The demands, the experiences, the excitement and the opportunities available to our student athletes from around the world. Study and Play USA facilitates a comprehensive, customised approach for student athletes and families for their whole journey, from their high school preparation years right through to US college graduation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of In the Huddle. I'm your host, Claire, joined by two very special people with me today. We have Angus and Kelly joining us from Melbourne. Thank you for being on the podcast today. I'm really excited to chat with you both.
Thank you. We're excited to be on the podcast.
So for those listeners who have no idea who Kelly and Angus are, I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves to talk about who they are, their background, and why we are speaking today. So Angus, let's start with you.
G'day, I'm Angus Alberts. I'm from Lara, down near Geelong, and I'm a shot putter, and I'm a part of the track and field team at Iowa Central Community College. So you, Kel?
Me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm Angus's mum, and I don't know.
No, that's better.
Yeah.
Angus's mum, that's it.
Awesome.
And a big supporter of Angus.
Angus is number one fan.
Yeah, Angus is number one fan.
So Angus, being a shot putter from Lara, can you tell us a bit about what sparked your interest in the US college system?
Obviously, I was doing well at the time, just doing it through school and stuff. And then one of our teachers got me onto a coach down locally, and I came third at our state championship. And obviously, I was playing rugby at the time, and I kind of had the option whether to take which one's serious, and I thought shot put would probably be better in the long run. So, yeah, I started working with Marty Jackson down here in Geelong, and, I've been working together for 4 years and started taking it a bit serious, and I won a national championship, and I've represented Australia at the Oceania Games, and I thought, with being down in Geelong, the party life, it is massive, and my friends, and I started to lose a bit of focus. And I thought if I want to take everything to the next level with shot put, that's probably best I look at the overseas route. And that's what I did. And it's worked out the first year really well for me. And, yeah, kept me on track.
Nice. And Kelly, what were your first thoughts when Angus said, I'm looking to go to America?
So initially, when Angus kind of had views, like he kind of wanted to go that route. So basically what initially happened was we knew that Angus, he'd only been in the sport since 2019. So it was 2023, and he'd only been in the sport during COVID, but he'd done really well. And then he was approached via his Instagram page by a coach from, do I say?
He's so coach, a D1 coach.
A D1 coach in New York. And he was approached by him. And I actually thought it was a scam. I thought, oh, no, that can't be possible.
I was also in the same boat. I didn't know if it was a
Angus is like, Mum, this person's messaging me. And I said, well, what's it about? And he sort of said, about attending their university. And, and I'm just like, you did VCAL, because Angus sort of didn't do the VCE option. He did the VCAL because he wanted to be a disability worker. So I was like, oh, okay. So we looked into a bit more. Angus scheduled a call with him, and from there he offered Angus everything, like a full ride. This was in April 2023. It was after Nationals, when he'd won the National. The National. So he'd been watching Angus, because Angus on his Instagram puts his own videos up of his shot put. Pardon?
Yeah. He found me from my world rankings.
Oh, and also by world rankings too, on that webpage. So from there we sort of had a meeting, and it all became very sort of surreal what was going on. I'm thinking, my boy's going to leave me and he's going to go to America, and so I was excited for him to go and experience it. So that was my sort of take. Initially I didn't believe it, but then it was all pretty much legit. So that was the start of this experience we're on now, this journey we're on now, or Angus is on.
So from originally thinking it was a scam to hopping on the call and being like, oh, everything's going to get paid for. What was your thoughts coming off the call and being like, wow, I actually could go here?
I was definitely nerve-wracking. I was just packing up and leaving. And the sort of track we had, I'd been approached in May, and then to be over there by August, it was like, all right, well, this is really happening. I've got to get going now. And yeah, it was all good and well until it kind of went a bit downhill. And I was just due to my academics and stuff like that. Like I love school. I love being around my guys and that, but yeah, the books I wasn't really too interested in. So yeah, it was a downfall, but it gave me an option to bounce back and actually start taking and guiding even my younger brother to start taking school like legitimately, because it does make a difference when you're older. As much as people don't say that, it does. In this aspect, it does.
And can you tell people who are listening what kind of subjects you were taking in high school?
So the subjects I was taking, it was sort of easier math, easier literacy, and then we had personal development and sort of just not your really core subjects that VCE route like provides. So it was just an easier schooling for people that had trouble at school.
And hands-on learning.
Yeah.
A lot of it was everyday living. Like it came into everyday living. What the subjects that he did, which I feel VCAL was a great course. For kids who don't want to do that like the university sort of pathway, to just do this, it was a really good course for them to do. Like they learnt budgeting and just everyday things in their lives that they'd have to in their adulthood.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of that. I think that do what you want to do in high school, study what you want to study, take the classes that you want to take. For this podcast episode, I think it's good that the listeners get to hear what you were taking and then what happened as a result of the classes that you were taking. And just to clarify for people listening, when we're talking about courses that Angus took in high school, we're not talking about the letter grades that he received from those courses. We're talking just purely taking that course as opposed to taking a different course. So that's super, super important. Is when we go to career expos or we go to nationals, things like that, everyone assumes that you have to be taking a certain course, but also getting an amazing result. And the main
not at all.
You just have to be taking those courses.
And I think we need to say, like, it was the NCAA, like the university had accepted him. Like he was enrolled straight away. Yeah. Like we had the meeting with the coach and the director of athletics of the university. So it was in May, that's what sort of sealed the deal. And we had a signing of I don't know if we talk about that now, but we had the signing, the letter of intent. Is that the
we signed basically everything. And then to find out that with VCAL, because we didn't have letter grades, it was either satisfactory or non-satisfactory. They couldn't translate the satisfactory, non-satisfactory into an American grade book. So that's where it all went wrong.
Yeah.
And the NCAA, like, that took forever. Like, I did it on my own. I don't know, Claire, do you want me to talk about that now or down? Yeah. So I kind of didn't get any guidance from the university as to what had to happen. Okay, so I kind of was on my own trying to navigate it. And I would tell you now, it's a nightmare. Just to make sure you've got all the right visas, you've got all the right applications enrolling in the university, whereas like us coming through like study and play, it was a breeze. Everything was like for 3 months, I think from May to July, I did not sleep because I was upbringing, because of the time difference, I was upbringing America. The amount of calls I went through with the NCAA, like to find out, like, have I done this right at the eligibility centre? Then they were requesting more documentations, which I was able to get. But again, that was what the issue was. They deemed him, he could compete. He was eligible to compete. But in the end, we got to the point of booking airfares and doing sizing for clothing because he was enrolled to do account and management, business management. Like he was enrolled to do all of his courses. We'd done all of that with the university, but it was just the NCAA. And then they deemed him non-academic because of the scale, the grading scale, which is fine in Victoria. That's because every state in Australia has their own different system for year 12. In Victoria, it was VCAL at the time and BCE. So they've now changed it since. It's known as vocational major, which falls under the VCE to put it in line a little bit. So, so basically that's how we got to that point with the NCAA. And it was really hard to, after putting in all that work, spending all the money as well, like the visa, the SEVIS?
SAT thing?
He didn't do an SAT.
Yeah,
the SEVIS fee. Like outlaying all this money because it was in US dollars as well. Like, the Australian dollar to the US dollar is not very good. But yeah, so it was just an extra expense on top of everyday living, to sort of come across. But then to get that, it was quite devastating for Angus, like to see him. And he did spiral a little bit because it was such a big workup, and he mentally, because it was such a short time frame to think, I'm going, okay, from May to August. He was to be there in August for the start of the fall semester. It was crushing to see him, It
was more the way of telling everyone that I'm heading to the States, and then to have this roadblock and then have to tell everyone I wasn't going. And at the time, I was pumped up, I was feet up for it, and then to be able to not actually go, and then you've got to tell people that you're not going, and then the reasoning behind it, just all, not like a disappointment, but it just all come falling down. And I thought it was the end of the world, to be honest. And young me, I was like, I said one of the first to sort of do it around the area. That was pretty full on. But at the end of the day, it's how I bounced back from it, and look where I'm at now. So it's been great.
There was just one other boy in Lara that was overseas for basketball at that time. Was he overseas? So there was just one other, boy that we knew of. But no way in the world did we think that Angus would be in college. I honestly didn't think Angus would be in college doing a sport that he loves in America. If someone had told me that, I would have said, no, my son's not leaving me. Like, he's staying here right now with me. So, I just think we put that down to experience. And I always tell Angus, anything that happens that doesn't go the right way, it's always building us, building our character, making us stronger. Mm-hmm. In life, things don't always go to plan. And in this particular case, and I think there's a lesson learned in all of it. And now I do know why. And I can confidently say I do know why it happened. The opportunity was put to him in March 2023. He was going August 23. It was only 5 months to get his head around it. It wasn't something he had an ambition since year 9 to do, which is what starts the NCAA. I know in America, that's when they start. This is a whole learning thing for me. I know that's when they start, year 10, the grade system to get into, So basically that's why I think it did happen. I think this was the pathway he was to take.
And I think,
great.
Yeah, I think it's all worked out really well for you, Angus. And I think that the feedback that we've received from your coaches in America is so glowing. And you probably are sitting there thinking, you probably get glowing references and recommendations and feedback from coaches when you check in with them. But no, we don't always get that feedback from coaches when we check in and we say, how's our athlete going? And it's not always super amazing like yours are. Every coach I've spoken to from Iowa Central is like, Angus is great. He's such a leader, has been such a wonderful addition to the team. And there's a basketball coach that I was speaking to the other day who's just started at Iowa Central. And I said, you got to meet Angus.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so he's half Australian, half American. So I said he should definitely go and chat with you. But in general, the feedback that we've received from you, from your coaches at Iowa Central is so amazing. And I think for people listening, they need to understand that that's not always the case, where a coach has let us know that they feel like you are such a good fit for their team and for their culture and community. And I think that's a huge testament to you, Kelly, for raising such an amazing person, but then also you, Angus,
Thank you.
for being such a great role model for all these people at Iowa Central as well.
I think when we took him over, so when it all come about, I don't know whether we say now, like I said to Angus when we got over there, because we did a quick road trip of 12 days, my sister and I, we took him there. The first thing I said to him was, if you do not feel comfortable here, we buy a return ticket today and you come home. Because I said, you're not stuck here. Like if you do not like it, and I was like, a little bit of me was like, he's not going to like it. He's going to come home with me. We did what we did, and then he can't say I stopped him from doing it. But then they're amazing at Iowa. Like they embraced him. Everyone embraced him. Like we took the little Aussie souvenirs, you know, the platypuses. I think they called it a wombat, and we were like, no, platypuses and kangaroos.
And the Vegemite and the Tim Tams.
Vegemite and the Tim Tams. We took that all over just as sort of like a, you know, a gift to it, the coaches and things like that. Has the coach had Vegemite? Did he have it?
No, we've been trying all year to like tee up a time for me to come around and be able to spread it properly and not put too much. And so we didn't get around to it year one, but definitely year two will be in force it for Coach Rad and his wife.
But I was, and you know what? I was quite happy to leave him there. On the day that we left, I was quite happy for him to go, and just because I knew he was going to be fine.
Yeah, it really was a family thing since day dot. So I was very comfortable there, and everyone embraced me. And obviously, when you feel embraced in a whole different country, you don't know what the kids are going to be like. You just don't know. It's a whole different country. I said, if I went 45 minutes up the road, I think I'd be all right. But flying 24 hours across to another country, it's a pretty big deal. So, it was good. Did enjoy it.
And for those people listening who are not sure what really was the issue with the athletic department at that D1 in New York and the coach, I think it'd be good to just briefly chat about that. So for those people listening who are a bit confused how Angus was accepted into that Division I university in New York, but was not able to compete or was cleared to compete, and then there was other things that were going on in the background. I think what's really important for people to know is that getting accepted into a university is completely separate to being allowed to compete.
Yeah.
So, and I could understand that anyone that's doing this process on their own might not understand that there's a big difference there. And that's what we always talk about on the podcast. We talk about it when we do career expos and webinars and all kinds of stuff. We always say that there's so much that you don't know, and not you as your family, but people that do this process. And we do it every single day. So we kind of forget sometimes how much goes into it. But I think for anyone listening, super, super important to just double check, triple check things. Give us a call. Double check if you've heard something from a career counselor, if you've heard something from another person that plays another sport. Double check, triple check, make sure everything's all sorted. If you're not sure ever. We've had lots of people that have actually even gone over during grade 12 to America. They've gone on official visits. Coaches have paid for them to come over and visit. They get there, they do their visits, they get offered some really phenomenal scholarships. They come back, and then they're like 6 or 7 or 8 credits short of what they needed to be able to compete at the NCAA level. So I think that's really, really, really important, because a lot of people say to us, oh, well, wouldn't the coach know immediately that you weren't eligible? And the answer is no.
Well, that was my first. Like, why have they done this to him? Like, we were upfront with his level of education, VCAL, we explained what that was. We said about the grade, we were up with it. But talking to the departments there at the university, they're like, they recruit, but they often don't know the background, you know, like how it all works and things like that. So, that was my one thing, like just to, you've got to make sure that you've got all the, because that then leads me to Rick Allen as well, like talking to him prior to coming to you guys, like talking to him once he was deemed not eligible, like academic. It was then we spoke to Rick Allen in America, who runs a service like for Well, we
Eligibility.
were on our own.
Yep.
So we didn't know at this point in time, we didn't know about Study and Play USA. We didn't know, like, I didn't know what to do. And I was quite frustrated. And then I somehow come across this Rick Allen. I was Googling, you know, like I just needed answers because I couldn't understand. And he was quite good, you know, like in speaking to him initially, like I sent him an email and then I spoke to him. And then, yeah, so after we got no, he can't, there was nothing we could have put in. I think they were talking about putting in an exemption for COVID, but at that point, Angus had already dealt with it. And he just said, you know what, he shut down a little bit and he just said, you know what, I'm not going. He was just cut off, I'm not going. So this is probably July, this happened, July 2023. Then, was it July 2023?
Yeah.
Year 12. Oh, yes, yeah, because last year was 24. So then December, can we move forward to December 2024? He comes to us and he says, they'd been off and on little discussions, and then he said to me, Mum, I really want to go to America. I think that's where I need to go. I just want to do shot put all the time.
December 2024. That was a couple months ago.
No, December 23. Sorry, my mistake. December 23. He came to us and he said, my husband and I, and he said, I really want to go to America. I think that's where I want to be, because here in Victoria, shot put was only every second week through athletics, the local senior athletic competition. They would have the elite throws, like, were they once a month?
Yeah, just every so often.
Yeah.
And yeah,
so,
the competition level just wasn't as much here.
Yeah.
And like talking to a few people that I knew over there that were from Australia and shot putting at big universities, it was constant competition. So I just knew that if I wanted to take everything to the next level and start developing more, and although it was my life down here, I started purely revolving my life around it to try and take it to the next step in hopes to come back and go as far as it takes me, sort of thing. So yeah, it was just, the constant competition over there. And yeah, every 2 weeks down here probably wasn't enough. And then we'd have to start traveling for every week. And it was just very full on. So that's why I made the decision.
And then, so that put me on to Googling, okay, Mr. Google. And I spoke to one recruitment agency. He wasn't very helpful. He kind of was, all he more or less said was, get Angus into an online course through an online university course. Doesn't matter what course it is, get him on there. Let him do some about a year. So we had to get onto it straight away. And then he could transfer as an international student. So I was like, oh my goodness, there's hope, right? Because he could get in because he had finished school. We could get him in, you know. So we did that. Online learning's not for Angus in that respect, like university online.
It was too full on.
It was very full on, and he was working as well. It was just something. So he's got a HEC step now from that, but that's okay, because he got a HEC step because we thought we were doing the right pathway that we were going down. So then I Googled again because I was like, something doesn't, you know. And then I come across Study and Play USA. So then I spoke to, I think it was Carly first. And she was beautiful. As soon as I spoke to her on the phone, explained what the situation was. She had Chris call me. We either scheduled an appointment and we had a Zoom, we spoke briefly. He was on board with Angus straight away, was very interested because he was a tennis player, and we were talking, and I just got a really good sort of vibe from him. He was really interested in Angus and what he was doing. And then we scheduled an appointment, and then he met Angus, and he was the one that showed us the junior college pathway. He was the one who told us that there was this pathway, because we thought it was only the transferring through the university. So to do this, and we were like, Angus was like, oh, junior college. No, because he'd been offered the D1, the full scholarship. He was like, no, I want to go to a D1 straight away. So we spoke to Chris some more.
Yeah.
And then you could see.
Yeah. No, 100%. It was junior college. It just wasn't appealing to me at first, but I knew I had to go there to do it. And then it really opened up my mind once I got there.
I'm glad that you guys got lots of different pieces of information that led you to us at Study and Play. And I'm glad that Chris was able to talk to you about junior college because, yeah, like you were saying, the word junior, that's a big misconception, thinking it's like TAFE or something different.
Yeah, 100%.
Junior, because you need to graduate when you're going into your junior year. That's a big one. But I'm really glad that you were able to get all the information from Chris to be able to say, okay, yeah, this is something that I'd like to do. And also, I think everyone listening can agree, Kelly, you were the absolute MVP of this whole process, all the research that you did,
100%.
all these different platforms for Angus to explore. Like, I think anyone listening is like, wow, Kelly really wanted the best for her son and really tried every single avenue.
But that's it, yeah. You try and make everything happen. Like, your child wants something, you're going to try and make it work and make it happen for them. So, yeah. But it also helped too because I have a sister-in-law who's American and her father's a retired doctor. And we sort of spoke to her because she went to University of Minnesota. She was a track athlete, and she was on board for it all the way. She's been a big supporter of Angus, and we spoke to her about the junior college as well, just to see what she thought of the junior college. Well, and then we spoke to her father, and he said he believes that everyone should do the junior college pathway just to learn, it's been such a great learning experience for Angus to get in, because a lot of the times kids don't know what they want to do at college, and whereas junior college offers so many different things. You can try so many different courses and, find where you want to be and what you want to do. Angus sort of knows what he wants to do in life, so it was easy for him to choose the subjects. But yeah, so it was good hearing it from an American as well. People underestimate junior college.
Yeah, they do. And I agree with that, being an American as well. I know so many people that went to junior college. I know so many people that didn't go to junior college. It should be more of a known pathway. And that's why we actually did a junior college podcast series. We did a bunch of different sports. We're also continuing to do a bunch of different sports with the junior college podcast series as well. And I think another big thing for people listening who haven't listened to our other junior college podcasts is the number one misconception that we get about junior college is, oh, it's not suited for people who have straight A's or perfect SAT scores. And I think, Angus is shaking his head for those people not looking. And I think you're shaking your head because you know now that there's lots of people that go to junior college that have straight A's really close to perfect SAT scores. So it's not like a quote unquote backup option, or it's not like an option for people who did not do well at school. There's so many reasons people go. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I also think it would be good to talk about for our listeners a bit of a backstory as to what you want to do for your future. Like, what kind of work are you hoping to get into?
Shot put related?
For shot put, and more so for academics, but also definitely
academics,
your shot put too.
Yeah, beautiful. So, currently I'm doing an associate's degree in arts through JUCO, and then that's leading on to doing human services. So human services for me, I've been since I was about 17. So a week before I turned 18, I got into the disability field. So I was still in school, still in year 12, and we're just doing afternoon shifts. And then I obviously got my license and took on a lot more shifts. So yeah, just disability, it's just a very rewarding job. I said I've been with a couple companies and obviously had to leave some of them due to going to the States the first time, and then I wasn't able to reclaim my position there. But yeah, leading from that, just deepening my knowledge just within the field. And yeah, so human services cover social work, I said disability work, mental health, and just being around people. So with JUCO, I did take my first semester there. I took one sociology course, and then the next semester I took 3, and I was over 85% in all 3 of my overall grades. So it was good. And then obviously coming back after when my time started in the US, I don't know how long that'll be. I don't know what will happen in the future, but whatever happens, it'll be the right reason. And then, just coming home, probably starting my own business and start, just providing what's needed to the community. I know it's starting to get bigger as it goes on. And, my grandmother, she's been doing this line of work for nearly 35 plus years now. And it's a real inspiration to get into the field, to just help out people. It's very rewarding and I love doing it. It's so much fun. I feel like a kid again. So.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool that you found something that you really want to do that brings you joy and that you're excited about, like gets you out of bed in the morning. That's so cool.
100%. 100% it does. I'm very grateful to be doing what I'm doing.
We say that we're not a professional sports agency because you know how in professional sports, when you're looking to go to a team, the coaches normally know who you are. They know all of your background. They've read about you in the media. They've seen interviews. With amateur sport, the coaches want to get to know you. They want to talk to you, meet you, because we're not the ones trying to get a scholarship. The coaches want to engage with you and talk to you and make sure that you're a good fit. So I think that does surprise people when they realize, oh, actually, I need to talk to the coaches. And I think they think that we're going to do it for them, which we do a lot of talking to coaches for you. But I think the most fun part that you get to do is actually having those video calls and learning about the schools and all of that.
100%. 100%. It was a fun little journey. I talked to a few schools. Definitely, I think up to around that 12, 13 range, especially JUCOs. And I think Iowa Central was the third one I spoke to. And I was pretty set on going there probably after the sixth call. So I think I let Connor know that I was like, I think I'm ready to commit. So, it was good.
And Kelly, what about you? What did you think that we would offer as study and play, and what surprised you?
To be honest, I didn't really know. Like, this was all new to me, and I was thinking, okay, what do I have to do? And I was like talking to Alexia, and I was asking her, what do I have to do? And to be honest, it was a breeze for me. Going through what I went through the first time for the D1 school, like the sleepless nights and just trying to coordinate everything, to having you guys come on, us signing, and then he was fast-tracked because, we're talking December 23. I think it was like late January, like early Feb, wasn't it? 24, because we were talking with Chris and Connor, and it was like he should have been, to go in the fall 24, he should have been recruited like January 23. Like that sort of the year before. So Angus was put into a fast track program, and it was just amazing to see like how quickly things turned around, like that, who was interested in Angus. Like that was probably really fun to watch, and who was interested in speaking with Angus and where the school was. And I was like on the sides Googling, was seeing what I could, as much as I could get out of the information. And then I think what was hard was him doing his own interviews, like with the coaches, not mum sitting in and talking as well.
Oh, Kelly was definitely pressed against the door hearing the conversation, by the way. There's a few times where I've gone to open up the door later and she's just standing there outside of my bedroom door. So
I've just seen that he's talking nicely, and, just to see. I think I wanted to see what the sort of the way the conversation was going. Like, was it about Angus? Like, did the coach want to get to know Angus, or was it just what they could do for Angus? And because Angus has had coaches in the past where it's all about the sport and not getting to know him as a person, whereas Angus with Iowa Central and Coach Briscoe, he really cared about Angus and what he sort of told his vision of what he wanted to do with the throws department at Iowa. And, I think I was up against the door because it was like a 2-hour conversation.
It could have even been a little bit more, to be honest.
Well, yeah, he spoke to a couple and he was off the phone. Like, it was like, no, I don't think so. Or there was 2 that he was tossing up, but Iowa really got it because it was about Angus. And to hear them banter, to hear them talk, was like they knew each other for years.
And that's exactly how it was when I first got over there with Coach Briscoe. There was an instant connection. We both had a vision that we wanted to pursue, and to take on the throw squad. I said we ended up having our throw squad consisted of 4 of us. I said me, Dev, Nooney, and Zariah, and we we had 3 national qualifiers, the first indoor championship, and then we had 2 in the outdoor. I said, and now the throws program's really taken off. I said, we're looking at bringing in another 15 male athletes already. I said, our signings, we've had already 9 signings by now. I said, I think just the work of us being so close together as a throws department really determined the future. And once you have 15 athletes, I believe, over there, I don't think you rapidly drop down the next year. I said, you put out and provide, and people see that. Look, I said, we're looking at a squad of nearly 20 next year. And from taking it from 4 to 20 in 1 year and people seeing our progress and seeing all Americans and stuff like that, it's just, I think it's unbelievable to be able to turn something around, turn something from nothing into something. So
that's amazing. For those people listening who don't know what an All-American is, can you explain what that is?
So I finished off my indoor season as 9th, so top 8 for indoor, and a Duke All-American, so it's top 8. So I missed out by just 1 placing for indoor, and I was pretty shattered. And I looked at the size of the medal, and the size of the medals, they're very big. I've won nationals in 2023, and my medal was about this big, but those Duke All-American medals are massive. But and then I got it in the outdoor. I did actually tie 7th, but I lost on a countback because the bloke I tied with had the same throw. We tied at 16:05, and then he won because he had the next furthest throw. But it was pretty good. I didn't get to technically stand on a podium because they only had 7 podium places, so I stood on the floor. But one of the boys from New Mexico, he's a South African. He told me to jump up on his side of the podium, so it was good to share that moment with him. And obviously, being internationals, so you get along with everyone that's not from that country. I said, you instantly click because you're all in the same position, and especially Australians. I said, I know well and truly that I've gone out of my way to go see 4 Australians from study and play when I've competed against them, whether it was over out at Mount Mercy or just trying to find when I knew I was coming up against, or Bailey Burns from Cloud County. I was just really cool to see. And I said, so seeing them at nationals and seeing them at meets, just being able to talk about our own experiences within a track meet, I think was, bloody unbelievable. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's so cool that you're able to see all the study and play athletes as well as, internationals. You're so right. You guys are all in the same boat. And I'm sure your accent has allowed lots of people to come over and talk to you and want to get to know you.
100%. 100%.
I love that. So for junior college track meets, for those people listening, you were talking about outdoor and indoor, and you were talking about the places that you got. So for those people listening, just to put things into perspective, when Angus is talking about getting 8th and 9th, that's not just in his conference, or that's not just in his state. That's talking about every single junior college across the entire United States. So that's a huge, huge deal that Angus is an All-American.
It is pretty cool.
Huge deal. And I think for internationals, they don't always understand the concept of All-American, but I think for someone like me and someone who's listening who's been to college, they're like, wow, All-American is something that is absolutely incredible that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So on behalf of all of us at Study and Play, and I'm sure everyone listening as well, congratulations on that. It's such a big deal.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But I think everyone just knows the Netflix show, eh? Well, that's about it. So everyone, when I said I placed All-American, the All-American TV show on Netflix was the first thing that comes to everyone's mind. So, so a few people could relate to that, and I was like, beautiful.
The proud mum has been showing people the medal. The medal stays. I showed it on at his 21st just to show people the sizing of the medal. The medal is amazing, and just to show they'll never see one here in Australia unless they know of someone who's an All-American from America, that's been over. So it's good to have something. I'm planning on getting it framed for him, and so.
But hopefully many more to come, eh?
Yeah,
that's it.
Plenty
more to come.
Got one, so no.
And we've also talked about with other junior college coaches about the fact that, especially with international athletes, especially with the timing of when people from overseas usually start the recruitment process, And a lot of the times the American coaches go, oh, hey, we wish we knew about these internationals way earlier than when we found out about them. So with that being said, a lot of the coaches that we talk to, especially on the podcast for junior college, say that they're so excited to see and help you grow and see what comes after junior college. And a lot of the coaches were saying, hey, if you have an athlete who is coming from overseas looking to go straight into an NCAA program, regardless if they're good enough or not, there's a lot of things that they don't know and that their overseas coaches don't know about what might be a good fit. And if they come to JUCO and we're able to coach them for 2 years, and then we say, hey, this is a really good fit for you, this one might not be a good fit for you, they have that really like a big insider knowledge as to where you are suited best as a athlete and as a person. They know a lot of the coaches are able to work with you on where they think your next home might be. And I think that's really important for anyone listening who's an overseas athlete as well, to understand that that is a huge advantage to have someone in your corner who's looking out for you going, yes, this is how you did here at Iowa Central, and this is where I really think you're going to be a good fit in the future. And I think that that's something that you can't get from going straight from high school anywhere into the college system in America. I think one of our most popular podcasts over the last year is actually from Cloud County, the track and field coach, who talked about the recruitment process being an explorer versus a customer. He was talking about exploring, where you're looking and seeing where your right fit might be, and then customer being like, what can you do for me? As more of like, I deserve a spot. What can you do for me as a customer? He was saying that that seems to be coming up more and more often nowadays, where it really should be more of the exploring mindset of, oh, this is a really cool town, or oh, this is a really cool program, and this is a really cool track program, and this is a really interesting conversation I had with this coach, instead of saying like, okay, what can you do for me? What is my scholarship? What place do you think I'll be getting? Like, where will I be living? Do I have my own bathroom? Like that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting because that's one of our most highest rated podcasts now, that Cloud County podcast. So yeah, we're really excited to see what comes next for you. And I think people think it's a sales technique for junior college when coaches say where you end up coming straight from high school will probably not be as good as if you started at junior college and then transferred. I think a lot of people think that's a sales technique, but we have seen hands down someone starting at junior college always ends up with better options down the track than if they went straight from high school. So I could almost hand on heart say that's almost a guarantee with that.
100%.
And I think because they're all, especially at JUCO, it was good for Angus to go and grow over there. Like, he was with like-minded athletes. Like, they're all got to do their schoolwork. They've all got what they need to do. Like, in the fall, it was strengthening and conditioning, for the indoor season, which started in the January.
The indoor season started in January.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of period when I first got there, we started school, and then doing that 4 months without competition, like realistically our pre-season, and then going into competition in January really set us up so good.
And I think that's why, like, Angus's fall, like, because he hadn't been in school for a couple, like he hadn't done learning, like academic learning, was hands-on learning. It sort of, he did okay. Like, he learned along the way what he needed to get in order to be able to, like what he needed to do. But I can say his spring semester was amazing.
I finished with a 3.2 GPA for my spring semester, actually.
So from someone who didn't want to, wasn't really interested in the whole schooling, it goes to show, like, being around like-minded, like, I'd call him and he'd say, oh, hang on, Mum, I'm just doing this paper. I'll call you back. And I'm like, okay. And then he wouldn't call me back. And he's like, hello. Oh, sorry, Mum, I got caught up. I've got to get this in by a certain time. And, he took it really seriously because and it was just amazing to see him grow in that way. Like, I never thought I'd have a son going to college. So, and to see, like, a lot of people say to me, oh, do you miss Angus? Yes, I miss him, but he's on the right path where he needs to be. And like people, you know, oh, but I couldn't let my son do that. I'm not going to stop my son. I could have said quite easily, don't go. And he probably wouldn't have gone. But to see him grow as a person and grow in his sport and come back and be a role model to so many kids, we get it all the time. Like Angus is a bit of he attracts, like, he can make friends with anyone. And like he's already been asked to do a talk at the school, his local high school, just to some VCAL students, just to sort of like have a chat and see how his path sort of took. Yeah, so, and just to talk to kids, like kids come up to him and he sort of said, like, since he's been back, he's like, everyone says, how's America? He goes, I wish I could just like, just get them all together and say, this is what America
Yeah, we also just had my 21st as well. So, yeah, everyone there, I hadn't seen a lot of people in a year, and it wasn't actually too bad. I was going into it saying that, like, I thought this was going to be all about America, but it wasn't too bad. It was pretty good.
He's got a very big support.
Yeah.
He's got very big support network here, you know, like everyone's behind him. And that's how Angus is the way he is today, is because of everyone helping him get there and helping him to be the person, you know, because a lot of, like, especially rugby kids, you know, he's mentored kids that have, you know, had troubles at home and at school, and he's mentored those kids. And
that's the same thing for work as well. I said, coming from a community that can be top and end of the scale, where kids are having trouble in school because of their disability. And I think my life's been around helping people. So I love to be able to do it and provide support to whoever in need. And just love it. Just love it.
I have this feeling that you will be a coach one day. I do.
Yeah, I coached before I left at the Geelong Grammar School. So I worked with Lara and a couple of other athletes. That I know one of college athletes, Cassidy, she was at Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State, I think. One of them. But yeah, she was working there, and we had a really good group. So I enjoyed coaching the kids at Geelong Grammar. It was unreal. I think just with being so young, you can start that connection with them and relate to half of the things that they're saying. Whether as an older coach, it's kind of, I don't know if they'll get all that stuff. So, but yeah.
Didn't one do really well in shot put?
Oh yeah, my squad was unreal. My squad was good at Geelong Grammar. I think it was the best results we'd seen in the shot put. And I said, but I loved it. I said it was honestly great, and being able to travel in a bus up to Melbourne, up to Lakeside, just to be able to watch like my guys compete and stuff like that. It was unreal. I love the kids at Geelong Grammar, and I'm ready to jump on board for this before I head back. So it was a great opportunity.
Nice. Because everything you were saying about wanting to help people, that's how I am as well. I've always tried to get into a field of work where I was helping people. So I was a teacher for a very long time and did a lot of coaching. And yeah, it's very rewarding for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to touch on quickly before we end is that I think a lot of people listening can hear that you face setbacks and you didn't let it stop you. I think that's really, really admirable. And there's a lot of people that give up at the first inconvenience or the first hurdle and go, okay, no, it's not meant to be, because they could have viewed it as this is a sign to not go. But you viewed it as this is a sign that I need to keep going and I want to keep going, and you're going to keep persevering. So looking back, what advice would you have for someone who is listening to this podcast going, hey, I don't really know if I want to go to the US. I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. Or what advice would you have to someone listening who's actually faced the exact same situation as you, where they're being recruited to America and then got told towards the end of the process, oh, actually, you can't come straight to this college? What would you say?
As like you said, perseverance is a big thing. And I've always prided myself off, whether it was in any sport with jobs, on people will see how you bounce back from it. And that's been a massive thing. I've missed out on medals. I've missed out on spots. And just knowing how you feel in that moment and how you felt at what you thought was the bottom, and being able to bounce back and come through and then win or get a spot and stuff like that. I just think it's very important, and I pride myself so heavy on it, because people are going to see the work you put in, and people are going to notice you, and people also, you're going to tell people how you felt at that time, and being able to use your emotions to fuel something to be great, I think it's unreal. Like, I could nearly get teary about it because I know I've faced a lot in my life and a lot of controversy and a lot of noise, and just being able to prevail and sort of make everyone proud. Like, that's the reason I do it. I said a lot of people say I need to do it for myself, but to see my family and friends happy and to be talked about, it's overwhelming. I said I could go on all day about it, but I'm kind of there. But mum always used to tell me, like, you didn't sign your life away when signing to a college. I said, if you're ready to go home, I said, you can go home. So if you get over there and you don't like in the first month or 6 months or year, you can always just pack up and go home. I said, and no one's going to be angry. Like, no one, everyone understands, because being even like a 17, 18, 19-year-old moving away from your parents for the first time, and you gain a bit of independency overseas and things. So when it comes to cooking, cleaning, Mother Dearest always did the cooking and cleaning. And so me having to put my big boy pants on and that and start doing that. And yeah, you just gain a certain type of independency. Although I didn't bring it back, when I come back about a week ago, I said, Mum, straight back into the washing. I said, it's unreal not doing my own washing. So yeah, you do gain an independency over there. But yeah, Mum always told me, you didn't sign your life away. If you want to come home, you can come home. But push for as much as you're capable of. That's my
But you have
message.
to give it time, like, you know, because it's a whole, like, I think Angus was over there for like a week on his own.
I came very early because I had to do an international orientation.
Yeah.
So you get put in the room for an orientation, and half the kids don't speak English. I think there was one Australian girl in there. But yeah, so that was a bit daunting. I said I felt very left out because, one, I've just moved to a different country, and two, I'm in a room with everyone that doesn't speak English. I was like, all right, well, I really feel left out here. But turns out they could all speak English by the end of it. So
the connections Angus has made, not only with Americans, but, you know, people from France, Morocco.
Yeah, plenty. I said, if I wanted to travel all over the world, I'd be able to. I said, our track team is very diverse. I said, whether, it's nationality. I said, it's just, we're very diverse. And I can openly say, if I want to go anywhere in the world, I said I would have had a teammate or a friend from college that lives there. So,
and I've already said to him, like, you know, his mates are all working or they're doing their thing, and I say to people, Angus will come home broke. He will come home with no money, but at the end of the day, he will have this life experience that no one else has had. He's a very lucky boy. And he knows that, and he's grateful for that, because not many get, you know, like full ride scholarships. And especially at the time he got recruited, it was about a 98%, like it was quite like a high scholarship. So it's just like he will have so much knowledge, you know, life experience, because he's gone out and seen the world. Like, he's traveled to all around the Midwest, like this freshman year, and he's seen different things. And
I think I've traveled 13 states already in just my first two semesters in my first year. Yeah, so a lot of traveling, but competition season comes around, and I know we took a bus to Texas down in Lubbock for indoor nationals, and I think, well, we're trying to time it was 14 hours, but I could definitely say I was nearly 20 hours on the bus back home. So nearly had to psychosis. It was too long on a bus. You know,
so I just feel like this whole experience for him is just amazing. And if you ever get the opportunity to do it, you take it, and you take any opportunity in life. And it just makes you, it shapes you as a person.
It does, for sure. And the thing that I've picked up with what you were talking about, both of you, is a lot of people, I think, get worried about what others will think of their decisions. And we actually talked about this in another podcast with one of our softball players. And the episode was titled "The Danger of Letting Other People's Opinions determine your own path." And I think, Angus, you're a role model for people, even listening to this podcast, who have no idea who you are. You decided that this is what you want to do, and you didn't let noise distract you. You didn't let other people's opinions distract you. And I feel like even if you hadn't had support from people in your community, I feel like you're the kind of person who would just go for it anyway. And I think that's really admirable. And I think really important because we do get a lot of people that come up to us, and I can like at expos and career fairs and different national events and state events, and I can tell that they're concerned about how they're recruiting and where they might go looks to other people. I can tell that. I can pick it up immediately. And I think it's a big life lesson that you're sharing with everyone, that you just go for it. If this is what you want to do, go for it and take life the way that you want to do it.
Yeah, I definitely could have decided on a different path a couple of years ago, and that probably wasn't ever going to work out for me in that aspect. I said, so when I pulled my head in and I knuckled down and wanted to take this serious, and I received everything that I've worked for and like that I love. So yeah, just sort of beating the adversity of just people talking and stuff like that, not believing. But my support crew has got me, and that's the only people I need to have me. So yeah, it's been an unreal experience. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time, and yeah, it's thanks a lot to Study and Play. Yeah, they've been unreal. So
we're so excited to see what happens next. And thank you so much, both of you, for being on the podcast today, sharing your stories and life lessons and wisdom. And yeah, we're very lucky to have you on the podcast, and I'm very excited for everyone to hear it.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
we're happy to do it again wherever. So no, it is a fun experience.